Hello and welcome to my show. It's lovely to be here on YouTube. You're fat. Put your hand up if you want to see one of these shows before. You guys know what you're getting into, don't you, fellas? You're disabled. Oh, it's just jokes here, guys. It's just jokes. Just a bit of a laugh. Anyway, pipes aren't really that useful these days. I've recently thinking, like toilets. Use a toilet. It goes down into the pipes and into the ground. But why do we need pipes? Gravity does it for us anyway. Like, what's the point? They're just gradual versions of. They're just B-Tech versions of gravity. But they look slightly cooler and go in little swirls. It makes no sense. Like, they're really just taking the piss. Like, pipes are only really useful for warping world to world. One think that changing clothes whilst being a spy would be useful in disguising oneself. However, it's actually too time consuming, so it's actually really a dressing in disguise. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Some people like dimensions way too much in Minecraft. Like, I'd rather wait 7 years for a different type of chestplate than never. In other news, new cyanide bullets are being created that are 70% more efficient. Unfortunately, they cost 4 times as much. However, the Special Forces are now investing, saying it's better to bite the bullet now than later. If one is new to the chiropractic profession, it can be nerve-wracking on one's first day, but there's not much one can say from the sidelines except good luck or break a leg. It's much easier starting out in the circus. For example, I started out performing on the Rolling Globe. I was on the ball. I heard there's a future in robot engineering, so I did some work experience. I was really good, in fact. I really hit the nail on the head. When God was working on creating light and dark, even though he was only halfway through, he decided to call it a day. I always thought the hanging punishment in 19th century Britain was a bit harsh, like cut the guy some slack. Those how-to magazines are usually well made, however, I found one about computing with loads of grammatical errors in it. It went through all the steps too quickly as well, it was like easy does it. They'd even messed up the Shakespeare tabloid within it, like, get your act together. Well, when one messes up juggling, it can get out of hand. Additional support to those in our society is a complex issue because it's who's deserving of other people's money. There's no really way of telling someone it's lying or not, you see. So in the situation, you sort of have to believe everyone, which is annoying because I knew a friend called John Doubt who didn't really need any support, but the system makes sure to believe everyone, which is sort of a flaw because you end up giving benefits to the doubt. Me and Doubt actually had a race around the art room. He almost won as well, but he hadn't practiced climbing over the statue near the end and fell off, so we had to go back to the drawing board. This was surprising because he was actually a class gymnast. Actually, one time he was really upset because he didn't have anywhere to practice his parallel bars. I just told him to hang in there. I remember one time we were having a laugh and he was like, your leg will fall off within the hour. And I'm like, no way. And he's like, yes way. And then I'm like, you gotta be pulling my leg. Long story short, I was very distressed about having my leg unattached from my body and ended up chopping my arm off in addition. But in the end I pulled myself together. That escape cost me an arm and a leg. He turned out to be a homosexual in the end. Went into porn. He wasn't very good at it, but I don't want to be homophobic, so I didn't tell him to quit his gay job. Last I heard of James was that he attempted suicide after a failed dairy. I remember thinking, there's no point dying over spilt milk. The moon landing was in the news recently, being the 50th anniversary, and the rocket is actually the most complicated thing ever built, and with the invention of high-end computers, probably the most complimented. Alright, don't laugh at me. I'm the person who makes the jokes, and you laugh at the jokes, not me. I'm the funny one, not to be the one laughed at, you schmoons. I mean, it is rocket science after all. Donald Trump, you can laugh at him. Being on record, Twitter, in saying that the moon is the gateway to Mars, life on a different planet. There's lots of differences between the planets, but hopefully we can get the best of both worlds. Alright, now comes a bit of the show where I come back to your insults, like, let's go. Alright. That guy over there. You're stupid. No, you. Alright. You're ugly. On opposite day. Ow. Oh, he's so good, but he's rubbish. Your jokes aren't funny. Your mum. Your comebacks aren't good. Well, your nan. I know you. No, shut up, you schmingoloid. Alright? What a schmingoloid, ladies and gentlemen. What a schmoog. I've started to get into fishing recently. However, some people say it's immoral to harm them. The way I see it, the fish is disturbing me when it gets caught up in my rod, and it's actually the fish's fault for getting stuck, and it deserves the punishment. However, when I finally actually caught one, I decided to let it off the hook. Unluckily, next time I wasn't as merciful. I needed to feed my family, you see. I had bigger fish to fry. It didn't taste very good, but you know, there are plenty of other fish in the sea. I also decided to get into writing and try to get a book published about negative emotions. So I was taking this to the publisher, and to make a long story short, he didn't like it. Many French rock guitar players actually rely on carbohydrates to get enough energy to play. At the end of the day, there's no pain, there's no gain. I don't understand how to pronounce French. I always reminisce about rainy days, not intentionally, it just all comes flooding back. I've got nothing against the turtles, but I just really like plastic straws, right? So like, when people tried to ban them, I was like really annoyed. In the end, I bought a straw for myself to use, but then someone went and stole it, and that was just the last straw. Regular shapes are so much worse than irregular ones. For example, you so much as smudge a regular shape and it gets all bent out. Whoever wrote this script is rubbish. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, you're less likely to come sick above the clouds in the Earth's atmosphere. You just don't become under the weather. There was a problem-solving exercise which I participated in. I was sure it involved string, but we didn't have any, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Everyone heard of Fiverr, right? You know, the website, you pay money, they do weird tasks, like for about Fiverr. Like, it's just too costly for me. Like, I'm not going to spend £5 on some guy reading from my thoughts from a notepad or whatever they do. Like, it just isn't happening. If there was a penny though, instead, though, you'd have a penny for your thoughts. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but not when you're blind. They say actions speak louder than words. And at the end of the day, who picks up guide dog crap? Who guides the blind guide dogs? It's like all these questions. Like, blind dogs must always bark up the wrong tree. Birds of a feather flock together, but St. Crows are where it's at. If a mouse tried to eat a cow, one might say it bit off more than it could chew, or it's just kinky. When Eskimos first meet, they usually find it easy to break the ice. I'm not sure if that's racist or not. No, I don't know. I think Eskimos is a no word. I think you meant like, I don't know what you meant to say though. So, yeah. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, it's 16-1. Birds are actually incredibly hard to find and catch in the open. That's why so many bird farms didn't used to have free range. It was like going on a wild goose chase. I was thinking about joining the Special Forces, but I met a guy who was well sarcastic, and I heard it's dangerous joining the irony. I booked a cruise around Hawaii, but I'm not sure whether I'll like it or not because it wasn't very Pacific. I used to only care about Easter egg hunts, but this year I've decided not to put all my eggs in one basket. A YouTuber did a video on $1 Minecraft versus $1,000 Minecraft, but the only difference was that the entities were coated with precious materials, so it wasn't that good. However, I did manage to copyright strike it for ripping off my sky mod, because every cloud has a silver lining. In the news recently, you might have heard about this, but there was actually like a deranged doctor running around giving patients the wrong medicine on purpose. Anyway, the court's in 2 weeks, and I reckon he should have a taste of his own medicine. Right, I don't understand this, but it's always harder to eat main course than desserts. Like, mains are so chewy and tough and not less nice, whereas desserts are just pieces of cake. 2 birds in my garden died whilst they found a bone. It wasn't the bone that killed them though. It just started raining. You see, it was raining cats and dogs. Yep. Killed 2 birds with 1 bone with that one. Global warming's occurring fast and governments have done next to nothing. They better do something soon because they're already on thin ice. My friends argue with me and say, who is writing this script? Oh my god. Can we get a different script writer for my next show, please? This is actually rubbish. Slow and steady brings the waste. Oh my god. Stop laughing at me. Oh my god. You're all fat. Slow and steady wins the race. Didn't used to be the best idiom, but it gradually became number 1. I was trying to hide my love of gardening, but I accidentally spilled the beans. I made a healthy bean dip, but they said my bean dip was too unhealthy, so I said to take it with a grain of salt instead of 420. We were playing basketball in school and we accidentally hit it over to the neighbouring tennis match. We asked for it back, but they declined. I guess the ball was in their court though. Do you know what's really good, and I love this? Just a large, fluffy loaf of bread. Completely fresh, no touches, no one's cut it into all the little pieces which society has deemed the correct length to eat bread. Just plain bread, no cuts. Just so good to be able to choose how you want to eat bread. It's just got to be the best thing since sliced bread. Underprivileged children get free school meals, but I was thinking about it and they just pay those meals and taxes anyway, so I guess there actually isn't such thing as free lunch. I don't know why they put up warning signs in tornadoes, because they all get lifted up into the tornado anyway. It's like endangering the people who have to put them out. It's like throwing caution to the wind. It's kind of scary with these massive tech monopolies that control us. It's one thing to control something like fuel, you could say, but another thing to control thoughts, like fucking Twitch. I won the lottery the other day, 1,000,000 to 1. What are the odds? Anyway, it's been lovely being here. You're all fat, and I'll see you next time.